Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. So we've come to the 9th and final week in our 9 weeks in preparation for the procession, and I trust that you all have not missed a single Saturday. You look very faithful novena goers to me. Our theme for today is completely yours in youthful passion. Look around you. If you look around you and observe how many young people do you see? The Redemptorists and many other laity, some are still looking, have observed for a long time that the vast majority of people who come to the novena are, what's the right word to use? Pioneer, not that old. Senior, let's say senior, okay? Now it does raise the question, what is the future of the novena devotion? When I'm an older priest, is anybody going to be here? We built this huge church and maybe in the future it's going to be empty. What do we do all this for? But I think it wouldn't be right if we just focus on the idea of just packing the people in here, getting people to fill up the church, to keep the novena and the procession going, because that's what we've always done. Jesus never said in the gospel to build big churches and fill it up with people. I think the question is a much more profound one. Will the novena be relevant to people's lives? In the future, are people going to see that the Catholic faith is something that's important to them? That's the question. And now we all hope that our church will continue to be full and vibrant. But the writing is on the wall. All of the signs point in a different direction. Recent surveys have shown that only 1/3 of Singaporean Catholics go to Mass on Sunday. My friends who are catechists will tell me that most of the students in their class are going to leave the church after their confirmation. Recently, a survey in the United States found that only 1/4 of Catholics actually believe that Christ is present in the Eucharist. So numbers and attendance are only a symptom of the crisis. The crisis is a crisis of faith. Now, there's a big difference between a person who is a realist. I think a realist is one who looks at the situation and sees it for what it is, and a prophet of doom. A prophet of doom is a very pessimistic person who is just ranting and lashing out in anger and in despair and blaming other people. I certainly hope I am not the latter. Pope Francis, for sure, is a realist. Now, this is what he writes in his exhortation, The Joy of the Gospel. He says, young people often fail to find responses to their concerns, needs, problems, and hurts in the usual structures of the church. As adults, we find it hard to listen patiently to them, to appreciate their concerns and their demands, and to speak in a language that they can understand. So we must see that the rise and growth of groups of young people is the work of the Holy Spirit. The Redemptorists have always taken this to heart. We've always had a heart for the concerns of young people. And we've always realized that the usual structures of the church are ill-equipped to meet the needs and concerns of young people. Way back in the 1960s, the Redemptorists made a decision to go to where young people are. Where are young people? They're in school. And so we went to schools, started doing missions in schools, and that's continuing today for more than 50 years. In fact, even now as we speak, our mission team is conducting a mission at St. Joseph's Institution, the best school in Singapore. In the 1970s, a youth group, Vine and Branches, was born here at Novena Church, and that continues until today as well. In my more pessimistic moments, when things are not going so well, I tend to think that young people are not interested in the faith. That they're going to come to church and they're going to see all of this. They're going to be proclaiming and reading the gospel and celebrating the sacraments. And I just think to myself, these people must think that this is a whole load of nonsense. That's me when I'm down. But I don't think that is any kind of movement of God's Holy Spirit. That's my insecurity in myself. And it's simply not true. Now, here at the Novena, we have, for example, a very committed and capable group of altar servers. And they work very hard to make the worship look nice. We've got a growing youth ministry. I think some of them are outside, and they're going to promote the youth rally on Monday. And come the youth rally on Monday, I know this church is going to be full, because it was full last year. Many people who are young are part of small faith communities. So they really do yearn for a community to belong to. They want to share deeply about their life with others who they consider their friends. They're looking for older people to guide them, to mentor them, to teach them. Now, I teach theology at CTIS. Half of my class are young adults. They believe and they want to understand what they believe. And actually, if you look around again and observe a little bit more closely, you will see that there are some young people around, some young couples and children as well. Yet, at the same time, many of their peers are also leaving the church. We live in a culture today that tells us that this world is all that there is and there's nothing else. We live in a culture that is so noisy and distracted, it's impossible to stop and think about anything other than the here and now. We live in a culture that tells us that I am smart enough and I am strong enough and I don't need our mother's intercession or God's help for me. I'm good on my own. We live in a culture that tells us that science has all the answers and religion is for the superstitious. But everybody is looking for something in life. If they tell you they're not looking for anything, they're lying, or at least they don't know what is it that they're looking for, but they're looking for something. If I look at myself and I think, I want to be happy, I want to live a life that is fulfilling, I want to know that I was created by someone who loves me, and there's a destiny for me in my life, that despite all of my shortcomings and imperfection, there is something good in me that I'm called to share with others. I want to be part of a community that accepts me and loves me for who I am and helps me to grow. I want to know that my life has meaning and purpose. Now, if that's how I feel, I just have an intuition that you might feel the same, and that young people are looking for this as well. My Catholic faith has given me all of those things and more. And what I want to do is I want to share this faith with others. The changing times and culture and the very unique pastoral, human, and developmental needs of young people make ministry to young people a huge priority in the church today. I think we give it the attention that is due here at Novena Church. So what can we do? And what can you do? There are no quick fix answers or solutions. After an earlier novena, somebody told me that young people should have heard this sermon. But I told them that if it was a mass of young people, I wouldn't have said what I said. There are no easy answers. But we have to be committed simply to sharing our faith with young people. And the only way that we are going to be able to share the faith with them is by believing, and if they see that we live what we believe. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.